Good morning, students. Welcome to this e-class of BND Government Arts College, Chimanpura, BA Part First, Paper First. Let's begin up with your syllabus. The first poet prescribed in your syllabus is William Shakespeare, and the drama which is prescribed in your syllabus, As You Like It, is also written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare is by far the greatest name in English literature. We all are familiar with the name William Shakespeare and his greatness. Shakespeare's freshness is universal, it is perennial, and his appeal is universal. It belongs to all ages. Ben Jonson said that he was not of one age but of all ages, not of one country but of all countries. So when you read Shakespeare, you come to realize the truth of this statement. Shakespeare is words' immortal poet. He wrote for the Elizabethan stage and audience, but he is read and enjoyed not only by Englishmen or English-speaking people, but by all the translations of his work that has been done all over the world. He is enjoyed by all the people all over the world. His works have been translated in all the important languages of the world. Films and dramas based upon his work have been very successful all through, and they have continued to draw packed houses. He is explored, he is researched, and his work, they have a great appeal all through the times. His freshness and appeal seem to grow the more he is read, the more he is looked upon, and the mystery and the success of his work comes to us while we read or while we go through his works. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. There's a universal appeal in Shakespeare, and Shakespeare has the power because he constantly generalizes, and because of this generalization, he constantly moves from particular to general, and his works become a part of the panorama of humanity. He deals with the powerful passions, with joys, sorrows, which are common to all humanity, and we all share the fate of his characters. Generalized reflections on human life are scattered all over his work, and his works, they are mines of beauty, wisdom, and truth, and hence it has the universal appeal. The variousness and the variety in his work is very appealing and is very exciting all through his works. Shakespeare's biography is built upon doubts and it thrives upon perplexities. Shakespeare's exact birth date remains unknown, but we only know that he was born in April 1564 at Stratford-on-Avon in the country of Warwick, and the great dramatist, he died in April 1616 and was buried in the Stratford church. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. Shakespeare's sonnets are poems that William Shakespeare wrote on a variety of themes. Shakespeare's sonnets are considered a continuation of the sonnet tradition that swept through the Renaissance. When discussing or referring to Shakespeare's sonnets, it's almost always a reference to the 154 sonnets that he wrote. They are all written in the form of 3 quatrains and a couplet that is now recognized as Shakespearean. Quatrain is a set of 4 lines and couplet is a set of 2 lines. The sonnets fall into 2 groups. Sonnets 1 to 126 is addressed to a friend, a handsome and noble young man, and Sonnet 127 to 152 is addressed to a malignant but fascinating dark lady. The syllabus of paper first of BA part first begins up with Shakespearean sonnets. Shakespeare's plays are universally regarded as among the greatest in the English language, and they are successfully performed all around the world, and they have been translated in almost every language of the world. Shakespeare has written more than 30 plays, and the usual division of the four categories of his plays, histories, comedies, tragedies, and romances, is a matter of much scholarly debate. William Shakespeare is considered one of the most famous playwrights of the world, and his plays being translated in over 50 languages and performed across the globe, and the audiences of all ages are just being attracted to the universal appeal of his characters and the plot. His works span tragedies, comedies, histories, both in poetry and prose. The famous works of William Shakespeare include Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, Antonio and Cleopatra, Midsummer Night's Dream, All's Well That Ends Well, As You Like It, Merchant of Venice. William Shakespeare wrote at least 37 plays that we know of, and with most of them labeled as comedies, histories, or tragedies. The earlier plays, they were directly attributed to Shakespeare's trilogy King Henry VI with Richard III, and then Shakespeare, beginning with histories, moved to comedies, and Midsummer Night's Dream, Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, Twelfth Night. And the last portion of his writing career, he focused his work on tragedies and problem plays, as they are being termed up. So he wrote Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, and his works, they have been translated, they have been interpreted, and with new interpretations and the psychological insight of all these characters, and even the adaptations of the plays into films, the plays are fresh and they have an appeal even today, and it would have the same appeal in the times to come because of the humanity, because of the universal appeal, because of the joys, because of the sorrows, because of the human emotions and passion that it portrays in the plays. Shakespeare's greatness and uniqueness as a dramatist is universally recognized. His dramas are quite distinctive because of the combination of all the gifts, the variety, the greatness, the genius, and many sided curiosity, and the diversity, the genius, and the flexibility with which he composes his plays. Shakespeare invented thousands of words, often combining Latin, French, and native roots, and his characters, they have an appeal and emotions that transcends time, and the play depicts familiar experiences ranging from simple to complex. So this universal appeal, the appeal to humanity, the appeal to emotions, the appeal to passions, and the plays which are actually being performed with this universal appeal, they are adapted around the world, and they have a universal appeal of his storytelling. So whether it is the tragedy, whether it is the comedy, whether it is the romance, or whether they are the fairy plays, they have to show the variety, and this variety continues all through his work. He adapted himself to the most diverse material and seemed to use it all with equal skill and enthusiasm. The characterization that Shakespeare has in his plays are just unique for its variety. They could depict characters both historical, imaginary, and with surpassing vividness, which is so spontaneous and which is so impressive that the characters, they have become to be the most famous characters or universal characters in literature. So he created a multitude of such characters all through his plays. Whether they are good, whether they are bad, the characters are the unique characters, very famous characters in English literature. So welcome to the world of Shakespeare. Enjoy the poems, enjoy the poetry, the beautiful language, the beautiful characters, the variety, the diversities, the dialogues, the characterizations, the style, and just look for yourself that what makes Shakespeare unique in literature.